All right, everybody, welcome back to another installment here of War of Right 1776. We're doing the Eye in the Sky commentating thing. We have Anderson's Counterattack. I'm very interested to see how this goes. This is generally a bad one for the Americans, bad defending assignment. I think it's actually good for them that they can't take artillery because I think they tend to lose too many tickets to it. I don't know, though, that that's going to be enough. If there's an abundance of quasi 1842s, I get it. They're brown bass. Holy moly. Basically 1842's buck and ball, less accurate. I don't know that that actually helps them. Maybe it does. We will see. That's why we play the map, but we'll see how it goes in the 1776 version of it. But so far the Americans have been exceeding my expectations. I mean, the one hatches easily. It's amazing what happens when you get 4 companies and you get a ton of buck and ball rather than having what is it, sharps rifles on a map where they're really not that good. All right, we'll watch this melee come to an end. Might be a little late. I mean, you can get the flags back, maybe. Everybody else can just try to kill before they die. Okay, flags. To actually move, you have to... Yeah. You can't just will the flag out of there. You have to run it out. There you go. There's a lot of new players. A lot of people who are new to War of Rights. I am... Oh, friendly's countercharged on the right. All right. That explains what happened to the rest of those British. I was like, that looked like a long train. All right, so some Americans tracked back here. Didn't go too well for them, but they certainly saved the friendlies. I have no idea who just turned the lights out here, or why it is now so bright. I'll just blame somebody. I don't know, but yeah. As you can see from the tickets, not the best start for the Americans. They're down in relative terms, and it's a pretty high burn rate so far. Given where the black timer is. Are these two companies thinking about charging it? Somebody's talking about holding the line and...
Alright, boys. V for violence, charge violence, fucking rocks.
Alright. This is not great for the Hessians. It looks like the Americans absolutely have the numbers. Alright. Maybe the Hessians just didn't know. They didn't know we know. Yeah. Brits did a good job of getting 1 flag out. 2, of course, would have been preferable, but not at all bad. Oh, they let him get out. Good shot, level 2. Cheerio, indeed. Oh. Authentic American Revolution banter.
Good stuff.
It was a very fancy ramrod flip. Not a historical comment, just an observation. Well, I'm sure you enjoy the view. We tell the Americans are fighting compact. The name of the game is frequently for the CSA, now the British, to do exactly what the British are doing, which is to try to push up on this flank as much as they can in the woods.
10th Regiment of Line, break your reloads. We're going to head northeast, so turn around. 10th Regiment of Line, Company A, break your reloads.
I'll let them finish. Oh, we'll take a look at the officers here. So you're hearing Arthur at the moment. Very good work. I don't know George. That George. Trooper, I don't know. Nothing to know. Captain here, he does a great job. Smokey I actually saw a couple times recently. Did a fine job. Ethan Allen in this game I don't know about. But anyways, That's a look at who is leading. But yeah, anyways, normally the CSA/British would try to push up in here, use the cover and concealment of the force to get an advantage over the Union, who usually have not great short-range options. The CSA can bring buck and ball when this is 1862. And so right now we're trying to learn how does it work when there's quasi buck and ball symmetrically given here. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Because if not the woods, and you don't know what this map is, there's this until you get up to the point, which is not far away. It's just over an open field. There is a half stone wall that covers the area very close to point. And those are their targets. Again, if you saw that guy kneeling in the front, not in cover, he just gave up 3 times as many tickets as he should have if he was just standing. And it was taking him longer to reload. There is a time and a place to kneel. But so many people get it wrong that the rule is stand in formation. And when you know the exceptions, then you can kneel. But it does look cool. That is withering. Somebody is messing. Maybe it's the dynamic weather. It's probably that. That makes more sense. I mean, just going to take the time to mess with this. This company needs to get out of here. They're just going to keep getting shot up. And then the rest of their company's not going to have the mass that they need to deal with that. This is certainly neat. I don't know that I often see the Union up this far, so.
Alright. Company D, hold here until they filter out. Company D,
All
hold
right.
here until they filter out. Let them filter, let them filter.
For the most part, it looks like the Brits are all in front of us.
On the left, boys. Independent power.
Sounds like Arthur, so those guys will hit hard, and if they crumple this company, they're gonna roll that company. All right, so friendlies are coming in. Yeah, Arthur's trying to make sure they don't over pursue. He did tell you, but I think the countercharge was very well timed from the Americans. They might be overcommitting to this now, unless the Brits are throwing more into this. This feels like an overcommit, and they are thoroughly wiped. That company is, but, you know, 3 more are still here. That yellow flag moving? It is moving. You can't hide red too well in the woods. So basically the rest of the British side is going to try to repeat what Arthur just did. The problem is that the Americans are closer to it, and you don't have Arthur's company. He usually attracts a crowd. Yeah. Unless that actually did not look like all 59 of his guys, so maybe they are here. I'm guessing the 2 sides just went down at the same time? Yeah, pretty much. The Americans have actually looked like they've carved out a slight ticket advantage. It's nothing that the attackers, the British here, would care about, because they can make it up at the end. But if they continue to trickle in, you see those Hessians back there and a couple of redcoats. All right. They're not, well, some of them are dying out of formation, but they had a good cause, which is recovering the flag, and I guess that makes it worth it. Now, this is an odd map. I mean, a lot of times the defenders hang out very close to point because the CSA in the 1862 mode can just bully them out. Actually, the Union can go pretty far forward, and in a lot of places you almost never see them go. They can actually run and get fairly close to CSA's spawn, British spawn on this one, if they want to, but I think they're shooting at me. I have no I have no idea what else they're shooting at, but all right, I think there's some field action here. So if we can get some field volleys, well, I guess we're not quite out in the line, which we're getting there though. I get it. So that might be something of a pillow fight. Alright, looks like 3 British companies are right about there, on their way to meet these 3 American companies. From the sounds of that volley, the Americans see something. I think we need to switch sides here, because I have no idea. Oh, that's what they're shooting at. That is some wild smoke. I think they did make some update to the smoke. I thought I read that, but chat's been a little wild, understandably, the last few days. Well, you heard him call for a shift to the right.
In and out of cover and fire drill. We're getting some tickets back.
That is absolutely correct. It could be here. It might also be those groups out in the field. I know the numbers are small there, but the Americans look a little exposed. Alright, if the Brits are going to shoot it out, yikes. Let's see if they actually are getting hits up here. We'll see how many fall. We can't be everywhere.
Steady. Fire.
Yeah, I mean, some are dropping. 3 have dropped, like, in the last 10 seconds or so. That's something. I still want to see what's going on over here, though. The firing sounded interesting. All right, the Americans have maybe wisely pulled back a little bit. Who knows? Maybe as soon as I show up, the fun stops. Alright, so this sounded a lot better than it actually was. Alright, let's go back to where the numbers are. Oh, man. That group, if they're able to engage, I don't know, maybe they have orders to maintain strict secrecy. But if they're throwing lead that way, they're helping peel tickets off the enemy. Because right now, I would say it's either tied. Maybe the Brits are pulling back a slight advantage here in the shootout. In terms of time on the black timer, Brits got to be happy with that. Oh, maybe that's that company. That's it. They were just between volleys and there was no smoke. That makes way, way more sense. It got quiet. Maybe it's just between reloads. Usually that tells me somebody's moving now. Oh, look at that. I didn't even hit the right mouse button. And I knew it. I guess that's probably why he was calling a company over to the right. That actually makes sense. He too felt it had been too quiet. Might be hard to deliver a lot of effective fire from there. They probably have a better chance here at the logs. Those, yeah, that's the Hessian flag there, yeah. They must have pushed this group back. But I think Alan had a sizable company here. Yeah, it's still 50. I mean, look, when we only can have infantry, right? And there's 4 companies aside, and you got about 140 or 50 on a side. Yeah. Yep. A lot of them are repositioning. I don't know what happened to their flag, but... yeah. Maybe they forgot to spawn one? Maybe they lost it, it despawned, and they never sent anybody to bring it back. But yeah, Brits got to be happy with this. I mean, the way they're working through the Americans' tickets, they should have them to taking losses by 17 minutes on the black timer. That usually bodes well for the attackers. Alright, the Americans are hungry for some out-of-formation deaths here. They got... oh, rough. After finishing your reload. It's basically the History Channel here. Alright. Well, we'll see how these guys fare. Their officer just got dropped, so probably need to wait for some orders, but I think they've met with some success. Again, tickets are real close. That tends to be an advantage for the attackers as long as they're able to keep their flags. Yeah, shooting into the sun, it actually is a pain. Not sure what... I might be a little confused there, but anyways. Oh, there we go. We got 2 lines duking it out a bit in the field. That's cool. Yeah, and the Brits are going to add to that, I think. A second company. They're going to get real thick here in the middle. The Hessians are coming. Maybe there was communication in their chat that they're going to go for a cap. So they can cap... I don't think they can cap Oh, I guess they can cap from there. I thought they had to come in a little bit more. But I'm not sure which group is doing it. Maybe it's both, but the Americans are going to have to expend some tickets here to put an end to this. I don't think they want to let the Brits cap.
Oh, that's right, that's right. We're so woke, we're so woke.
Authentic American Revolution banter. There we go. I think these British volleys have been very effective.
I don't know where we're aiming.
No joke, that is an authentic American Revolution quote. I don't know where we're aiming.
There's smoke all around us.
Why?
We're up in the woods. The enemy is in the woods. Yeah. Company, take aim, gentlemen, take aim. You have your reload, take aim. Is that it?
Yeah, we can't see anything.
These colonial dogs will not kill us.
So, I mean, the Brits went down first, but just barely. I think they're going to make it up. When the Americans try to counterattack here. Americans got to figure out how they're going to do it. Are they going to go through the woods? Are they going to try to just come right through the open? I don't know. Fortunately for the Brits, they capped just a touch too early. I mean, if they waited taking losses, it would have put the Americans on, I think, a 7-minute timer. And so now they have a little bit more time to counterattack. But again, I think the Brits got to be pretty happy with how this is going. Yeah, the Brits might have boxed the Americans out of this. Again, I have the habit of counting the Americans out. The Union in 1862, but...
Okay, swear we can't hold this by ourselves. We gotta go back up to Arthur. Break reloads. We got one more back to Arthur. Break reloads. We got back up. We got to the wood.
Are the Americans? Americans got to push a little bit more if they want this to matter. And it happens.
Anybody got a sword?
Direct your fire a little bit left.
The Americans are recapping, I think, because they're right here. I believe. So, yeah, that is such an odd cap, right? Where it looks and where it actually is, but. Not sure what happened. It looked like a group of Brits just ran the other way, and now they're running back in. We'll go on board with them.
On this rock. Spread out on this rock right here.
That's Arthur.
There's a friendly line to our left. The friendly line in front of us, and the friendly line to our left, okay? Form it up, new line, with the friendlies to our right. Form up on the new line right here, guys. Fire at will. Fire
It's still
at
close
will.
enough that
They're right in front. They're right in front.
as long as the Americans keep doing what they're doing, or the Brits keep doing what they're doing, the Brits should win. Oh, is this a real thing? Oh, okay, these were Hessians. All right. I was gonna say the white flag with other stuff is not on the American side, I don't think.
Look it, I need some of you guys to get up here too. You stay up with me.
Alright, so some Brits want to push. Oh yeah, that was very effective. That looked like it dropped at least a half dozen guys, including the flag. That's what every redcoat yelled after they volleyed. Really makes you question the notion of progress.
Well done, boys. Well done.
Look at how good this looks, man.
Gentlemen, who retreated further up the road?
I wish I had a system that did it justice, but
Down my lines, directly south side.
even with the somewhat hot potato, it's actually not too hot right now, but even with that, it's a good looking game. And especially so. If it was Pingu or whatever team made the reskins here, they look great. So in this map, that can mean a number of things, but I think it means the rocks. And these are the rocks. Yep. You heard the call. They're gonna charge.
Keep shooting. Pour it on 'em. Pour it
Well, maybe they're not.
Don't listen to any fucking idiot. They got charged.
I'm looking.
So we got Hessians there at the caissons. I bet we have, yeah. We had a company there, one there. Oh, I see movement. Looks like the Americans countercharged, I think, or not countercharged, but charged the Hessians. Who, they either wiped them and now they're pushing up, or they didn't wipe them. But my guess is the British are trying, well, they're trying to cap, maybe down slightly on tickets. It's going to open up another counterattack. I was to say, with these two companies here, they're in a much better position to hold that cap, because this is, well, that's where the Americans counter-capped from last time. And now they'll have to walk into the bucking ball to do that. I think these guys are exactly in the right position. I mean, if they can make it work with the down tree, the shrubs, the few trees that are left standing, just sit here and force the Americans to expend tickets to recap. I don't think the Americans are going to gain much of anything from doing it. So I think, again, I think the Brits have done this one fairly well. I guess the log pile is the log pile cap. Maybe that's why they're able to do it. Why the Americans are.
I can reload easier. Heal down. You're a smaller target.
Yeah.
Maintain fire.
Well.
Single file. Single file, boys, on this line.
Ground, you're not gonna get shot.
Single file. Single file. Boys,
For a different perspective, if you do get shot while kneeling, when you're kneeling, the best you are in skirmishing. You might be out of line too. You will lose 3 times as many tickets if you die standing. And standing, you could be in formation if there's enough friendlies around. You will reload slower. if you are kneeling as opposed to standing, or unless that changed in 76. Yeah.
After this next volley, you will learn bucketball.
Oh yeah. Get. It got quiet.
Jimmy, take aim! Direct northwest! Take aim! Northwest, present your arms! Jimmy!
I almost thought I was aiming there for a second.
Load bucketball!
Alright.
We should not, because you know.
Hey, listen up, everybody. We're reloading.
Alright, the Hessians look like they want to pressure the cap a bit. Wow. A good shot. Should have been the British going breaking, I believe. The Americans are basically right there with them. So unless the British panic here, they should do fine. You can see that the British are starting to cap. That's more than natural decay. That's a faster rate than natural decay, which means the Americans are going to have to put more guys on the point if they want to stop that cap. But if the Brits do cap and the Americans go breaking, that's it. GG. Oh, the Americans want to try to solve this problem with the bayonet. We'll see. Well, we'll try to see, right? Looks like the Americans broke through on a couple sides there. Alright, and the Americans they had time to do that and put cap weight back on. Alright, so unfortunately for the British, they're down by 11. I mean, that's not the end of the world when you're talking about 400. Right, if it was 150-man servers and you're down 11, like, that's rough, but yeah, every little bit counts, right? Oh, okay, so the Brits came in the back side of this. It appears. And those are Americans, right, with the green flag. Mike. I don't know, all this Shiv 2-like action here probably would favor the Brits because they got more tickets, but
Come on, boys. Clean that line up. Clean that line up. Do not fire. Just get your loads.
it really looked like he had a bayonet on that pistol.
I'll tell you in a second.
I was pretty happy. I was like,
That is Hessians. That is Hessians. Get your loads and hold, boys. We're gonna volley these motherfuckers. Get your loads. Check when ready. Check when ready.
George Washington actually made that quote. I think it was at Trenton. Is that where it was? I don't know. Somebody who knows can let me know in the comments, but someone's gotta laugh at my jokes. That's harsh. That's harsh. Alright, I guess those... Oh.
Those are fret. What?
What? I'm guessing that those Americans realize either that, yes, there have been Hessians over here the whole time, or that there were 2 British companies that were coming up behind them. Alright, so these Hessians just volleyed, and so they are completely naked here, except for the bayonet. Honestly, the Americans could walk up 20 yards away from them and then do this. There's no reason to shoot from that far away.
Hey, check left, break reloads, check left. Death to the loyalists.
They're gonna get wiped. Now, whether the 2 British companies coming up will follow in behind, it doesn't look like it. And that sets the British tickets back. Huh. Yeah. I don't know if they know their friendlies went in and charged the map. But anyways, that's all done. Brits are down a little bit in tickets, but they keep their flags, stand on the point, shoot it out. I think they should have a very good chance to get the Americans in a last stand with enough time to finish them off. Alright, looks like Hessians to our right. This is a... See the yellow flag, so I know there are some British.
Thank you, boy, thank you.
But the Brits have an extended right hook here, and they're gonna send a couple guys around. I don't know if the Americans are gonna have anybody to stop it. I guess not.
Ah, fuck you, Red Coat.
I'm just laughing if, you know. It's from a deleted scene of The Patriot. Alright. This is a game, there's no time for fun here. Or funny things.
Redcoats down.
Dirty. I mean, this is nice. We could also go this way and put the sun in our eyes. What happened to the Hessians that were over... are they back there now? All right. I am Mel Gibson. Yeah. I don't know what condition the Brits are in. Is that really that close? 3 minutes. All right, the Americans are thick over here. Formation doesn't matter to the British. It absolutely matters to the Americans, but I think the Americans on point have a good lead wall. They're just going to be able to throw far more than they're receiving. And if they just back up those flags, because again, each of those British companies, if you're assuming they have, I don't know, 40 plus guys, and that's all that's left, you know that there's a long queue for flags, and so if they're not coming in there, they're coming in way back at spawn. Alright, Oh, there is a British contingent here. They're looking to threaten the point. This is just about the flex point. My rule of thumb is that there's more than 2 minutes on the clock and you go last stand. As a defender, you don't have great odds. The further away you get from 2 minutes left on the clock and you go last stand, the better your odds are. But it really depends on a number of things. It depends on how close you are to point. It depends on whether the attackers have all their flags.
Sprint.
That might be...
Mercenaries, no quarter for mercenaries, kill them.
No, those are our guys.
Those are not mercenaries.
Those are friendlies.
Those are friendly.
It's alright, dude. I do that all the time. Alright, last stand with 1 minute and 14 seconds. So, basically what the two sides want to do, the British want to make this a hot contest where they're dropping a lot of Americans. And then pushing at the last second when they have more cap weight. What the Americans should want to do... okay, so they can do what they're doing now, which is to hide and then final charge. I think, honestly, since none of the Americans are going to respawn, they ought to just charge and try to end it. But the Americans have been winning so far, so who cares? Alright, so you see that some of them are going into the woods. Americans are going to try to live their last life. I don't know, maybe they were trying to bait the British out by pulling back. Maybe that's what happened. So we see there's a big British push down there. There's an American counter push. The flag only matters for the Americans for cap weight, so there's no real reason to pick it up if you've gone down because there's nobody left to spawn in. But the Americans really want to put an end to this fighting and knock down the attackers' flags. If they can do one or both of those, they should win this. No Brits who spawn are gonna make it in. And it looks like by the skin of their teeth, the Americans are gonna pull out another win here. So very close. I'm really surprised the Americans at the end did not go last stand sooner. But you could see just how close that map is. And again, everybody's kind of adjusting the meta a bit as they... The maps haven't changed really, but there's no arty and it's a lot more close range stuff. The deaths and information are actually probably really good for the attacker because they're basically the same as the defenders, both on the Adelines and the skirmishing. What you see more of are the information deaths. That indicates a good amount of discipline. So yeah, very tightly played by the British, and I think they just got very slightly outplayed at the end. It's probably not even the right word. It was closer than that, but that was a fun one for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to have you back for another one.